Hey, what's going on everyone? Matthew from therighttrader.com back today with another daily crypto update. I will be going over my normal schedule today of Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Ripple, Neo, Vertcoin, Monero, Omisego, Lisk, Cardano, and IOTA. All of those in a more detailed technical analysis on TradingView in that order in just a second. Other than that, if you're interested in monthly cryptocurrency buying opportunities, you can check out my premium content. I have a link to that in the description of this video, and I'm actually going to be posting 2 new ones today, so definitely keep an eye out for that. Other than that, if you're interested in trading altcoins, you can check out Binance. I have a referral link to them in the description as well. And let's get started with the general market update. So we have overall a pretty nice bounce actually today. Not all cryptocurrencies are doing so well, but definitely recovering for the most part. So we can see that Bitcoin is slightly green over the past 24 hours. Ripple was in the spotlight today after going up 50% over the past 24 hours, now above $2. Absolutely amazing move. And it's now the second largest cryptocurrency based on market cap. So it actually bypassed Ethereum. Pretty amazing stuff. I've been bullish on Ripple for the past 2-3 weeks now. Really kept on saying that it was going to do really good, that a lot of money from the bigger cryptocurrencies was going to flow into it, and that it had, a lot of advantages on a cryptocurrency like Bitcoin that's slow and that has to have fees. And that's what we saw, right? A lot of money did pour into it, and it's now the second largest cryptocurrency out there. I'll probably make an update video on Ripple itself, but otherwise you can see Ethereum not doing too bad. Bitcoin Cash got a nice bounce today, up above 8%. Cardano doing well once again, now at the 5th market cap spot, back above 50 cents. And I like how it's acting. In the previous daily crypto update, I believe I said it was going to do pretty well, so it's turning up nicely here. And Litecoin, unfortunately, still acting pretty bad, relatively flat, not acting very strong, having trouble getting back above $250. Looks like Stellar got a very big day, up 40%. And Neo back to near its highs. So I'm not going to go over all of them, but Lisk kind of flat, Tron down a bit. Rayblocks, the growth slowed down today a little bit. Zcash looks like it's doing pretty well. Like I said, I'm not going to go through all of them, but as you can see, there is a lot of green today. A few here and there that are in the red still and that are having a little bit of trouble recovering. But we're finally seeing the beginning of a bounce, which is what matters. And like I said, I didn't really expect a major bounce until the beginning of January. So we got a decent sized bounce here. I think this is the beginning of the market recovery. And somewhere within the first week of January, we should really see a lot of cryptocurrencies get a nice increase. So starting off with Bitcoin Cash here, like I said, it actually got a nice bounce today. We can see that on the previous 2 candlesticks. We bounced off the middle band that's currently at $2,383. That's the brown line right here, which is a very good sign. That's where we're holding support, an important level to hold above. And our current candlestick, I'm not sure if you can see that. I can go ahead and zoom in, but it's a doji candlestick right over here, so extremely flat for the time being. We'll have to see how that plays out. On our previous candlestick, we did actually manage to put in a high of $2,888. So tested our resistance level at $2,800. And once we break above that, we're kind of back in our bullish mode where we can really expect it to get back to $3,000 and above, right? As far as the indicators go, still downtrending on the MACD, still downtrending on the histogram. And it looks like we are starting to recover a little bit, flatten out on the RSI, which is good. We'll be looking for the MACD hopefully to come back above the orange line as we move forward and we sort of regain this uptrend and bullish momentum, which is what's happening now. As you can see, we are indeed holding this middle band very nicely and slowly but surely moving back to those higher levels, right? Just have a lot of resistance at that $2,800 area. Let's go over now to Bitcoin and take a look at how it's doing. So let's see, let's go over to Bitstamp here. And the one good thing with Bitcoin, despite the fact that we didn't see any kind of major bounce, is the fact that we kind of horizontally came through this uptrend line instead of just completely collapsing. And we're holding nicely above this $13,673 support level. So we got 2 consolidation candlesticks, right? The 2 previous candlesticks have been consolidation candlesticks. And we're kind of just holding this level right over here near $14,000, $14,382. So at this point, I think that we're probably going to see a little bit more consolidation. We are coming probably to the end of the downtrend, it looks like. We can see that we even have a little bit of an uptrend forming actually on the histogram. Didn't get much flattening out or turnover on that MACD just yet, but we can really expect that to happen pretty quickly at this point. And the RSI has pretty much completely flattened out. So if the market starts regaining strength, I wouldn't be surprised to see Bitcoin, get a nice bounce here and really start climbing back up. I'm going to go ahead and put in a short-term uptrend line that's actually in the making. And this is going to be an important level this is this uptrend line right here. We're coming very close to it on this candlestick, and we'll see if we can get a bounce off that and maybe start moving higher along this channel that I just drew in right there. I think that's definitely possible moving forward, and it'll be the beginning of Bitcoin slowly but surely climbing back up to its higher levels, right, back up towards $20,000. Moving forward, we'll go over to Ethereum now, and Ethereum once again actually doing pretty good. Despite the fact that it has a pretty flat candlestick right now, we can see that it held its middle band very nicely. That's currently sitting at $724. Tested it a couple times, bounced nicely off it, and now we're back above our $715 support level, which is very key. So it's still having a little bit of trouble getting above, $750. But once we're able to do that, we'll be in the higher end of this range up until $783, which is the last resistance really before we're back towards those all-time highs, right? The all-time high is actually at $875. So MACD is still downtrending. Looks like we're flattening out a little bit on the histogram, which is good, and flattening out on the RSI. Just going to be a matter of time until this MACD flattens out and crosses over, and then I think we're ready to be back in bullish mode. The one thing that I should point out is that we have the Bollinger Bands, right? The upper Bollinger Band and the lower Bollinger Band that are closing in quite a bit on the price. So that could create some consolidation a little bit longer in the $750 area. Moving on, we're going to go over to Litecoin. And Litecoin is still downtrending, still didn't manage to break above this downtrend line right here. Now what is interesting is that we have been putting in higher lows, right? And we're starting to almost have a little bit of a symmetrical triangle pattern here where we're flattening out, we're consolidating a little bit, not that much just yet, but it could be a sign that we may get a little bit of a bounce and hopefully be able to break above this uptrend line. I can definitely see that happening. For the time being though, it is a little bit early to tell because you do have to wait for confirmation for that to happen, but the downtrend, we're still downtrending on the MACD, same thing on the histogram, and same thing on the RSI, unfortunately. So no major signs of recovery just yet, except the fact that we have slowed down the dropping a little bit, which is good, and we're coming close to the lower Bollinger Band, which is also a good sign. Around the $220 area, there's a lot of support there basically. So I don't think it's likely that we'll drop below that, but it isn't acting the strongest either. I think within the next couple of days we'll probably see it break out of the downtrend line and then slowly but surely move back up higher. Going over to the big cryptocurrency today is going to be Ripple, and absolutely amazing move by Ripple. We can see that it's been acting very strong despite the bit of drama that we had over the past 2 weeks, held its uptrend line very well, and basically got a massive breakout above its all-time high at around $1.50. So put in a new all-time high of $2.09 and yet another green candlestick on the current one, moving a little bit higher. Didn't manage to get back to the all-time high yet, but one thing that I should point out is that we are now trading above the upper Bollinger Band, which is always a hard area to sustain. We got nice volume on the breakout, I should point out, but we can always see once we're trading above the upper Bollinger Band, it's pretty likely that we'll see it come back horizontally or maybe even drop a bit back into the Bollinger Band range. With that being said, when there is a lot of strength, it is possible to see it even climb a little bit higher. And for now, we're just kind of holding around the $2 level. So it'll be nice to make sure that we can hold fully above that $2 mark. And as for the MACD, obviously you just kind of took off there. Histogram, same thing, and looking strong at around 88 on the RSI, which is a very overextended level, right? You do have to realize that, but we have a major breakout and a lot of money is flowing into it. So that's completely normal. Overall, though, I think Ripple will continue to move higher and higher. It's now at the second market cap spot, and I'm not sure if it's going to bypass Bitcoin just yet, but I think it's going to get closer and closer to Bitcoin's market cap as we move forward. Let's go over to NEO now and take a look at how it's been doing. So got a pretty nice green candlestick where we moved all the way back above our uptrend line, basically bounced off our downtrend line all the way up to our uptrend line, and now with this current candlestick we actually dropped a little bit below that, so we'll see if we can bounce back up above that. Got a nice bounce on the MACD. It flattened out and it doesn't look like we're going to get any kind of major crossover, which is very good. As for the histogram, back into the positive range, kind of flattening out there as well, and we're getting higher into the range of the symmetrical triangle formation that we have on the RSI. So there's going to be a little bit more resistance, unfortunately, here. We have to break above the downtrend line, our resistance at 67, and then the 70 line. But we can manage to do that if we get, a lot of bullish action, which is definitely possible. Moving forward, we want to make sure that we can hold above the $70 mark, and if we get a little bit of consolidation in this $72 area, that's fine. Next stop is going to be that $77 level, where it's the last resistance before we're back to our all-time highs, right, at around $84. So I like the setup here for NIO. I think that slowly but surely we're going to get back there in due time, relatively shortly. And we're going to go on with our daily crypto update, now going over to Vertcoin. And I believe Vertcoin actually got a little bit of a bounce here. So we did not break below our $6.35 resistance level, support level, which is good. Now, one thing that you do have to realize, we are starting to see a little bit of a downtrend here in the making with this middle band that's currently at $7.89. That's the brown line, putting a lot of pressure on the price and really suppressing it. So it's important that we manage to break above $7.21 and then eventually get back towards that middle band and really hold at least sort of on it if we want to make sure that we can hold these higher levels at around $8. For now, we're consolidating in between the range of $6.35 and $7.21. We just want to make sure that we don't lose the $6.35 support level, because if we do, we're going to move much lower. With that being said, we have now seen quite a bit of consolidation. It's kind of looking like our previous consolidation over here. And if you look at the MACD I'm talking about, starting to flatten out on this histogram, which is a good sign. Got a pretty overextended move downwards on the MACD and kind of flat on the RSI. So we want to make sure that we can see it flatten out and then get a crossover like we did over here, right? And that'll be the signal to really confirm that we're out of this sort of consolidation breather phase and we can start really moving back up nicely. Let's go over to our next cryptocurrency, which is going to be, I got to pull out my list here. It's getting longer and longer, but it's going to be Monero. And Monero holding its middle band pretty nicely. That's at $345. Still downtrending on that MACD. Same thing on the histogram and acting relatively flat on the RSI. So like I said, it's been going up so much that it's only normal that we see it consolidate a little bit. At least it's holding its middle band very nicely. That's actually starting to slow down. We're actually starting to flatten out a bit and not really see any kind of bullish strength. Very flat candlestick right now at around $345. So in between the $355 range and the $327 range, that's going to be where we might see some consolidation moving forward. If we're able to break above $355, that'll put us in much better standing where we can pretty quickly move back up towards $400. So that's going to be the level to look at for a small breakout. Moving forward, I think we're probably going to see at least a couple more days, right? Probably around 2 weeks of consolidation. That does seem like a bit much, but I'm going to say a week or two of consolidation here still for Monero. Let's go over to OmiseGO and take a look at how it's been doing. Moving nicely here, middle band coming back up as well, supporting the price. Looks like we might be getting a little bit of a rounding up on the MACD. You can see a crossover back above the orange line, which would be very good. Still uptrending nicely on the RSI, now back above the 60 line, and slowly but surely, making its way back towards that those all-time highs at around $20, a little bit higher actually at $22. So I think that we're gonna see the price at least get back to that $18 level pretty quickly here in the next couple of days. It's looking strong, and it got a lot of consolidation not that long ago, so I think OmiseGO is really ready to move back up now. Let's go over to our next cryptocurrency, which is going to be Lisk. And Lisk has been consolidating now, actually. So we can see we had a couple red candlesticks put in actually a little bit of a downtrend line, and that means that we have a symmetrical triangle formation actually in the making. So if I extend this a little bit as such, we can see that we're coming actually towards this downtrend line, which isn't the best sign. We want to make sure that we get a bounce here and probably one or two more candlesticks until we get the final decision on if we're going to break towards the upside or the downside of this formation, right? If we break the upside, then no problem. We'll pretty quickly come back towards this $27 mark. If we break to the downside, we'll drop back towards this secondary uptrend line, which is fine actually because we do have a lot of support there, right? We have our previous downtrend line and the middle band, so at the very most at this point, we'll drop around $18, I think, probably a bit higher than that. And we do have a lot of support levels in between $18 and $19. So we'll probably see some consolidation there if things get a little bit worse. But we could always see a nice bounce here and break towards the upside. That's also possible as well. We're getting close to that orange line on the MACD, so I'll have to see if we'll get a break below that or a bounce. Downtrending on the histogram pretty badly, and we lost our uptrend support on the RSI. So it looks like it may need to consolidate a little bit, but I like it at these levels because it has been one of the cryptocurrencies that's been acting stronger throughout all the drama that there's been over the past 2 weeks, to be honest. Let's go over to Cardano now and take a look at how it's been acting. So Cardano, nice green breakout candlestick above the downtrend line over here. And we're now completely out of the woods as far as this little consolidation pullback that we had, which is a very good sign. Broke above our previous all-time high at around 3,205 Satoshis. So around that area is going to be our new support, and got a bounce actually on the MACD, which means that we avoided the crossover, always a great sign. Back above the positive level on the histogram, and we're currently above the 70 line at around 74 on the RSI. Yet another good sign. We actually broke out of the downtrend there. Might as well put that in. So we broke out of that downtrend line, which is good. And currently putting in a little bit of a red candlestick here, so we may see a little bit of consolidation, maybe drop back down to this 3,200 Satoshi level. But I like it here. I think it's acting pretty strong. The middle band is coming back up nicely, and if we can see it move back above the all-time high, or even above the high of this candlestick at 3,644 Satoshis, we can pretty quickly get back to the all-time highs at 3,878 Satoshis, and then hopefully get a test here relatively soon of that 4,000 Satoshi level. I think that Cardano is well set up. It's not linked to the drama with Bitcoin Cash and all that. So it's a little bit like Ripple, a little bit of a safe haven and a good contender for people who want to put their money in something that's a little bit less controversial at the time being. That's just my theory, of course. Let's go over now to our final cryptocurrency of the daily crypto update, which is IOTA. And IOTA consolidating more here. We now have 3 relatively flat candlesticks, indecision candlesticks, and we horizontally moved above the downtrend line, which is one of the options that I said we could see. This is actually a more bullish sign. Now the MACD is slowly starting to come back over, maybe flattening out a little bit. Could see it come back towards that orange line pretty quickly, and the histogram is actually uptrending, so got a bit of a bullish divergence there. Horizontally crossed through the downtrend line on the RSI, and that's flattening out / maybe coming back up very slowly. And those are all very good signs. I think that there's still a little bit of pressure to hold the price down from this $4 mark and the middle band at just under $4, but within the next couple of days, I think we'll finally start to get that crossover on the MACD and really come back up pretty quickly towards that $4.75 level. So things are probably clearing up a bit for IOTA. And with that being said, everyone, this is the end of the daily crypto update. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.